Diddy's lawyers have spoken up and spoken out, and people are making a comment about his lawyer. But we're going to get into it. I couldn't stop laughing yesterday. I don't know why. But we'll get into it though. So come on in, like the video, subscribe to the page. Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21, where we talk hot topics, trending topics, what's going on. We debunk stuff. We stuff over here. We do what we can to talk hot topics, trending topics. So we're about to get into it. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, last night I was cracking up. We're gonna get into it though. Um, yes, but please like the video as y'all come in. Please. Like button. Okay, there we go. And let's get this disclaimer in. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Okay, y'all. We're going to talk Diddy. We're going to talk his lawyer. And then we're going to talk about his other lawyer spoke with Pierce Morgan. And that was yesterday or the day before. But we're going to get into that too. I'll get into that. So I'm going to allow people to come in. Let me finish doing what I got to do on this side. Yesterday, we had amazing numbers. Yesterday was amazing. I wish I could have went live that same time from yesterday. I just couldn't do it today. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I tried though. I tried. But y'all, so much is going on. So much conversation is happening. But while we let people come in, look at her face. I'm gonna let you listen to this.
I'll be there. Kids and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
no. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know? I mean, and I said I'll be there. Kids and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music?
Into music?
No. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know? I mean, and I said I'll be there. Kids and get back with his mother.
Okay.
The people who love him.
So she asked him if he's talked to him about music, and he said no. So she was very clear. He wants if he wants to go to Madison Square Garden, what is he gonna be doing? He just want to get on stage. He's talked to you about music, sir.
To you about getting back into music if he's
no. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know? I mean, and I said I'll be there. Kids and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
no. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know? I mean, and I said I'll be there. Kids and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back.
So she asked if he talked about getting back into music. He said no, but then he wants to get on Madison. He want to be on at Madison Square Garden. Y'all, I couldn't stop laughing yesterday because you got to remember, real talk. This is the same lawyer that was talking about if allegedly Costco had baby oil. Costco said, no, sir, we don't sell baby oil in bulk. Wrong place. Oh, but y'all, is this a sign of Uh, is this a sign of why the bail packages keep being denied? I'm wondering. I'm wondering. But we're going to get into a lot. We're going to get into a lot. We're going to get into a lot. Okay. So yesterday, Pierce Morgan interviewed his other lawyer. She's a beautiful lady. I'm going to show you the picture. This was yesterday. Pierce Morgan talked Diddy, talked to her, and I enjoyed him yesterday. Good conversation, very detailed. And there's another guy, but we're going to get into all that. She talked Diddy too. So we're going to literally just get right into that today too. I'm not even going to delay. Y'all got to get the likes up. Y'all got to stay on the likes. Y'all got to stay on the likes. Pierce Morgan, and I'm going to say this earlier, then I'll say it again. If you go to Pierce Morgan and watch the video later, she was all smiles. It's kind of like, why are you smiling, ma'am? Why are you smiling? And I love Pierce Morgan's questioning in regards to you're defending someone that's had concerns with women, substance abuse. She smiled too much for the whole interview up until Pierce Morgan brought up her own situation. She wasn't smiling that much after that. She was kind of like, how dare you bring up my situation that don't have nothing to do with Diddy? How dare you bring that up? Because I felt it was kind of weird of how often she was smiling and how cautious she was about answering questions. Pierce Morgan did a good job in regard to asking her questions because he also asked, you guys have contacted Trump for a pardon, correct? Can you go more into detail in regards to what that call was like? She really didn't want to go into detail, but we're gonna play the clip, y'all. We're gonna play the clip. We're gonna get straight into it. Like the videos, y'all come in. Like it, like it, like it, like it, like it.
October 3rd, hopefully he'll be coming home. We do not think that he should spend another day in jail. Not at all.
White men like Trump need to be banished.
If you're Donald Trump, why, if you reread those comments, should you contemplate a potential pardon?
We went to them with questions and they refused to answer. That is very strange.
What we have here is just a black female Alex Jones. I mean, that's really what she is. Bomb thrower, bomb thrower. Let's like conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory.
So they talk about Candace Owens.
And Trump cut them short. Diddy and Trump exchanged mutual declarations of friendship long before the legal case. The president was reportedly giving serious consideration to a pardon. But Trump now says that Diddy's criticism of his first presidency has made things more complicated. Well, Nicole Westmoreland was a leading member of Diddy's all-star defense team, which delivered what Trump called a sort of victory in court, and she joins me now. Welcome to Uncensored.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm very good. I just wondered where you think you are in terms of what is going to happen in October with the sentencing, because obviously, potentially, Sean Diddy Combs could face a significant period of time in prison. Are you anticipating that, or are you anticipating a more lenient sentence? Are you anticipating that President Trump may still intervene and issue a full pardon?
Well, we anticipate that on October 3rd, hopefully he'll be coming home.
But in terms of he wouldn't get a prison sentence at all?
We do not think that he should spend another day in jail. Not at all.
But he has been convicted of crimes. People will say, well, why shouldn't he go to jail?
Well, I think that the Mann Act was not meant to cover this type of behavior, number one, and that I think you'll find out very shortly that there is no one that we've been able to locate or identify, no case where someone is in jail for the same behavior as Mr. Combs. And so that's not fair, and that's not right.
Is that actually right? That nobody that you've been able...
And see, I think some of the case law lawyers that I listen to, I think they looked up some of that case law. Not all those cases had very similar situations about people complaining about X, Y, and Z, how the women were handled, what the expectations were. You can't compare apples to apples if it's an apple and an orange. brought up different situations. I think they're trying to make a comparison, but a lot of people say they can't do that. If I'm not mistaken, somebody looked up that case law. Those people, I don't think were in jail trying to get out of jail. I think they were bonded out prior to. So I don't think I don't quote me, but look it up. You're gonna find allegedly lawyers that are saying that some of those case laws are similar to the Mann Act. Some of those people were already homebound. They already got bailed out. His situation, he doesn't have bail, trying to get bail. So they may, allegedly, they may be trying to make it similar, and it's not. She said she looked up all those case laws, and she did not find that those people were housed and trying to get out. They were already home and already got bailed out. Okay, so let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Will define has ever been sent to prison for the things that he's been convicted of?
Listen, we've looked long and hard. As you know, the judge sent us on a mission to find cases, and that's due September 1st. But listen, we have not been able to locate a case where anyone is in jail for this type of behavior. And, you know, the DOJ policy manual doesn't even, you know, they say do not prosecute this type of behavior. So, no, we haven't been able to find an individual, not a single one.
In relation to the reports, I saw you on.
And is it because they can't find somebody because they were already at home, in home confinement, not in jail, trying to get released? They may not tell us that, y'all. They may not tell us that. Like the videos, y'all guys come in. There's about 117 in the building. Can you please hit the subscribe button? Please hit the subscribe button. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. We're listening to Diddy's lawyer talk to Piers Morgan. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
CNN yesterday saying that there had been conversations with the Trump administration. Are you able to say who those conversations were with?
Being a woman.
Like the video, like the video. Fair use reaction clip.
For anything. You deserve.
Hold on.
On that, to that extent, I'm part of the trial team, and right now we're laser focused on preparing for October 3rd.
Hold on.
It's obviously in the remit of the President of the United States anticipating a more lenient sentence, or are you anticipating that President Trump may still intervene and issue a full pardon?
Well, we anticipate that on October 3rd, hopefully he'll be coming home.
But in terms of he wouldn't get a prison sentence at all?
We do not think that he should spend another day in jail. Not at all.
But he has been convicted of crimes. People will say, well, why shouldn't he go to jail?
Well, you know, I think that the Mann Act was not meant to cover this type of behavior, number one, and that I think you'll find out very shortly that there is no one that we've been able to locate or identify, no case where someone is in jail for the same behavior as Mr. Combs. And so that's not fair, and that's not right.
So they may not be in jail, but they may be at home waiting for their sentence. So I think if he would have asked her to break down some of the case study in regards to the Mann Act, he might have been able to find they were already bonded out. And if their situation wasn't as many of the hired people they helped, or what Cassie and Mia and Gina went through, that might be the issue in regards to what the women experience. We'll continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Is that actually right, that nobody that you've been able to find has ever been sent to prison for the things that he's been convicted of?
Listen, we've looked long and hard. As you know, the judge sent us on a mission to find cases. And
He should have asked for a breakdown.
First, but
give me examples.
We have not been able to locate a case where anyone is in jail for this type of behavior. And, you know, the DOJ policy manual doesn't even, you know, they say do not prosecute this type of behavior. So, no, we haven't been able to find an individual, not a single one.
In relation to the reports, I saw you on CNN yesterday saying that there had been conversations with the Trump administration. Are you able to say who those conversations were with?
No, I'm not in the weeds on that to that extent. I'm part of the trial team, and right now we're laser focused on preparing for October 3rd.
Right, but it's obviously in the remit of the President of the United States to issue a full pardon should he wish to. He's certainly given some slightly ambiguous statements, President Trump, indicating that it's not something he has completely ruled out. But he did make a point of saying that he was aware that despite their previous friendship, that Sean Combs had said some pretty negative things about Trump. I went and did some research and found what those were. In 2017, when Trump had been president in his first year of his first term, he said to the Daily Beast, to be honest, we don't really give a F about Trump because black people are in the same effed up position. And in October 2020, he told Charlemagne the God, the radio host, that white men like Trump need to be banished, and the number one priority is to get Trump out of office. He said the real way of thinking is real dangerous. This man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote. We're in a war of love versus hate. The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. You know, if you're Donald Trump, why, if you reread those comments, should you contemplate a potential pardon?
So do y'all think this is a cleanup on aisle 9, 10, and 11? His attorneys are trying to help change the narrative because the bail was denied. Let's continue. Fair use. Please like the video. Please subscribe, you guys. Let's get the likes up. And where you're watching from, press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5, you've been here before, where you're watching from. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the judge will give him less than 1 year? Press 1. Less than 1 year, press 1. More than 5 years, press 2. More than 10 years, press 3. Let me know in the comments.
Because you want to do what's right and what's fair, and you're not going to let anything cloud those decision makings. And so, you know.
Okay, so I would say from your response that you are quite hopeful that he will get pardoned by Donald Trump.
I think being pardoned would be the right thing to do. So we're hopeful.
It would be an extraordinary thing if he is pardoned. There were many reports, as you know, before the time came for the jury verdict, that he was looking at potentially spending the rest of his life in prison. A lot of the public opinion, I think, was clouded by the horrendous video of him attacking his then girlfriend in a hotel corridor. You have spoken courageously yourself about your own experience with abuse. When you watch that video,
that's when she stopped smiling. She was mad. So when y'all go look up this video, it's about 40 minutes in.
As a woman, notwithstanding the fact that you've been part of his team, what does that make you feel personally about Sean Diddy Combs in the way that he has been violent towards women?
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were.
It's about 20 minutes into the video. She wasn't smiling as like she was when she first got up there. She's kind of like, how dare you bring up my situation? I'm not him. She was big mad.
I know that he knows that.
He told Charlemagne the God.
And Joe, no one that we've been able to locate or identify, no case where someone is in jail for the same behavior as Mr. Combs. And so that's not fair, and that's not right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Is that actually right, that nobody that you've been able to find has ever been sent to prison for the things that he's been convicted of?
Listen, we've looked long and hard. As you know, the judge sent us on a mission to find cases, and that's due September 1st. But listen, we have not been able to locate a case where anyone is in jail for this type of behavior. And, you know, the DOJ policy manual doesn't even, you know, they say do not prosecute this type of behavior. So,
Happy
no, we
Thursday.
haven't been able to find an individual, not a single one.
In relation to the reports, I saw you on CNN yesterday saying that there had been conversations with the Trump administration. Are you able to say who those conversations were with?
No, I'm not in the weeds on that to that extent. I'm part of the trial team, and right now we're laser focused on preparing for October 3rd.
Right, but it's obviously in the remit of the President of the United States to issue a full pardon should he wish to. He's certainly given some slightly ambiguous statements, President Trump, indicating that it's not something he has completely ruled out. But he did make a point of saying that he was aware that despite their previous friendship, that Sean Combs had said some pretty negative things about Trump. I went and did some research and found what those were. In 2017, when Trump had been president in his first year of his first term, he said to the Daily Beast, to be honest, we don't really give a F about Trump because people are in the same effed up position. And in October 2020, he told Charlemagne the God, the radio host, that white men like Trump need to be banished, and the number one priority is to get Trump out of office. He said the real way of thinking is real dangerous. This man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote. We're in a war of love versus hate. The number one priority is to get Trump out of office. You know, if you're Donald Trump, why, if you reread comments, should you contemplate a potential pardon?
Because you want to do what's right and what's fair, and you're not going to let anything cloud those decision makings. And so, you know,
okay, so I would say from your response that you are quite hopeful that he will get pardoned by Donald Trump.
I think being pardoned would be the right thing to do. So we're hopeful.
It would be an extraordinary thing if he is pardoned. There were many reports, as you know, before the time came for the jury verdict, that he was looking at potentially spending the rest of his life in prison. A lot of the public opinion, I think, was clouded by the...
Like the video, like the video. There's about 205 in the building. If I can please get 205 people to please subscribe, and thank you. We're trying to hit 50K next month. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Horrendous video of him attacking his then girlfriend in a hotel corridor. You have spoken courageously yourself about your own experience with abuse. When you watch that video as a woman, notwithstanding the fact you've been part of his team, what does that make you feel personally about Sean Diddy Combs in the way that he has been violent towards women?
You know, I know, because I've spent a lot of time speaking with him and I've spent a lot of time with him. I know that he knows that that was wrong. Bottom line, it was wrong. There are no excuses. And I appreciate that he knows that. I feel very confident that nothing similar, anything like that would ever happen again. And I know that it did not take him being arrested. It did not take him being indicted. It didn't take the tape coming out for him to immediately know that he was wrong, immediately be remorseful, and immediately know that he needed some help. And so all the way back then in 2016, right after that situation, Mr. Combs checked himself in and he started getting help. And so that's what I know. And I'm happy that he started getting help and that he knew that and that he's continued to get help. And that's what I know. And that's what I...
But you got to remember, not only Cassie had situation, Jane Doe was in a relationship with him prior to him getting arrested, and she had concerns. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Appreciate that he, you know, he was not sober. He was not sober then, and he has made a decision for himself to get his life together, and he's been doing that. And that's how, you know, that's what I know, and that's how I feel about it.
A lot of people have painted a pretty dark picture of what he was like in that period, that he was, you know, we've all read about the freak-off parties, we've read about the violence, the intimidation and so on. Do you genuinely believe he's a reformed character? Some will say, you know, lepers don't change their spots, that if he gets out and doesn't have to face any jail time or be held accountable for the things he's been found guilty of, notwithstanding you saying there's no precedent for jailing somebody in that position, they will say that if you put it all together, you've got a guy that behaved pretty badly, who ultimately, if he walks free, will have had no actual genuine accountability. What do you say to people that have that concern?
Well, I think that we need to break that down a little bit, because what was going on and the privacy of his bedroom with his girlfriends, consensual adults, you know, I don't think we should put that in the same category. Now, Is he human? Yes. Did he make some mistakes in his life? Absolutely. Is he getting help for those mistakes?
Like the video, like the video. Is she making excuses for Diddy? Let me know in the comments. Is she making excuses for Diddy? Is she paid to do this interview? Do you think she sounds humdrum? Do you think they're doing a major cleanup because bail has been denied several times under their watch and his attorneys spoke about him being a violent alleged
And
individual?
we have to look at it, from that perspective and not start, to say that everything that he did, including, sex with his girlfriends, was something wrong. That's their bedroom.
Do you believe
Do you let the federal government in your bedroom?
No, absolutely not. And do you feel that what the trial established was that actually, despite the claim of the people who were making allegations against him, that everything actually the jury determined turned out in their eyes to be consensual? It may not be everyone's cup of tea. It might not be the kind of behavior in a bedroom that some people find acceptable, but it didn't cross the line of being criminal, and it was all consensual.
Absolutely. That's why the jury found him not guilty of sex trafficking. No force, no fraud, no coercion. Those were two grown.
But when Cassie was trying to leave, she was leaving an FO. How many other tapes do they have from his home? What other stuff did Cassie experience from his home, from the hotels? If that situation happened and he thought Cassie took his phone and that's what his response was, versus just saying, hey, Cassie, give me my phone, and put his hand out, these women experience a lot. Think about all the times Cassie said she had issues. Think about the time Gina said she had issues. And what was done to Gina? And what was done to Jane Doe? But they tried to make all the women look bad when they took the stand, and they act like he's a saint. He the one in jail. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. She's doing the best she can, but she hesitates to think about her answers.
Ladies, they were his girlfriends, and the jury saw
Girlfriends.
Sex trafficking. So yes, it was consensual, and it was not illegal what they were doing. Although that may not be what everybody's doing in their bedrooms. Totally understand that, but it was not criminal.
How significant do you think?
How is it not when they paid for people? If a person's sitting in a car and they pay for somebody, isn't that illegal? How is somebody please help me make sense of that? He's having quality time in a hotel with people, but if you're in a car and you're having quality time with a person, that's illegal. Let's continue. I'm just wondering. I don't know. I can't give legal advice. I'm just trying to figure it out.
The testimony of the guy the escort who called himself the Punisher was, because I interviewed him and I believed him. I thought he was very credible, and he certainly painted a very different picture of what had gone on to the way Cassie Ventura had described it. He made it clear that in his eyes, she was the person who organised everything, booked him, paid for it, and seemed very happy about everything, thoroughly enjoyed all their encounters over, I think, a 2-year period. I felt he was both in the court, but also in subsequent interviews, a pretty powerful advocate for your defense.
I know you're not saying, and I'm making excuses, because what I think he did is disgusting, because she's not talking about him playing in the juices. She's not talking about him directing what was expected to happen to these women. She's not talking about that. So I know they're not saying I'm trying to make it seem like I'm making an excuse. What he did was disgusting, and he had these people play in juices after, and the men were expected to release. I'm being calm about what I'm saying because I can't say the other word. He expected these men to release and sometimes not wear protection. I would love to interview her. Real talk. I would love it, but I don't do interviews and I don't plan on it. But I would break down. So you would be okay with your boyfriend wanting you to do this? That's what I would ask the lawyer. So you would be okay with your mama, your aunt, your niece dating him? So you would be okay inviting him to holidays? How would you feel if your mama, your aunt, or your niece married him? I'm just wondering. Would you be willing to do what these women have done? Have relations with men 2 or 3 times a day, if you're not feeling well in the mouth or the lower region, would you be okay with your man wanting you to produce? So that's what I would be asking these lawyers. These soft interviews is Would you date him? Would you want your mama dating him? Would you want your aunt dating him? Would you want your niece dating him? How do you feel about what Cassie went through? That's what I would ask also. So when these people were paid, where did that money come from? Him transferring it to different people? So you think it's okay to mess up hotels like that and damage their property? You think it's okay for employees to clean up a boss's juices? Hello? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Agreed. You know, I'll tell you,
Ain't no
I
way.
really do not know why the government called him, um, but glad they did.
She don't know why the government called him, but glad they did.
So agree. I think he was powerful, and I think he said a lot. Yeah.
I mean, the irony is he was called for the prosecution, and yet he turned out to be a powerful weapon for you guys.
Agreed.
How is Sean Diddy Combs in himself now? He's been in prison for a sustained period of time. He's not been with his family. He's got a lot of kids. How would you characterize his state of mind?
Well, this is definitely the hardest situation he's ever been through in his life. You know, I think that he's trying to stay positive. He is trying to continue to fight. He's trying to.
There's about 220 in the building. If I can please get 220 people to hit the subscribe button. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Please hit the subscribe button and thank you. Fair use reaction clip.
Be a father from jail, which is very hard and very complicated. And so, you know, I think that he's doing a lot of thinking, and he's continuing to work on himself, and you know, he's still trying to be a parent, and you know, just get his life together. But this is definitely this is the hardest thing he's been through in his life, and I think that he's taking it a day at a time.
Were you surprised that a federal judge on Monday denied?
So shouldn't he have thought about his kids and his mother before he started dealing in this type of activity? Shouldn't he have thought about his children and his mother before he started putting hands on people? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Motion to allow him to be released on bail. The prosecutors argued he was a flight risk and a danger. The judge said that you guys had failed to show sufficient evidence to counter the argument that he's a flight risk. But on the danger point, there was a letter from his ex-girlfriend, Gina, to the judge, urging his release, saying he didn't represent a danger. Were you surprised, given all that he wasn't allowed out?
We're also going to get to Gina because Gina spoke up. She called people foolish for not thinking that she's not supposed to support Diddy. We'll get to Gina in a little while. Go check out my short. I did do a short in regards to Gina speaking up, feeling like she should be able to support Diddy no matter what, and she should be able to have his back. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
You know, I think that the judge made his decision. You know, what I really take issue with is the prosecution. I take issue with the prosecution bringing this case in the first place. So I think the judge, you know, made whatever decision that he felt like he needed to. But I think that the real issue is the prosecution having this type of discretion and being able to engage in selective prosecution and targeted prosecution and you know, to have that type of power. I think that's the real issue.
I just want to play again. This is the actual clip of Donald Trump talking about the possibility of a pardon.
You know, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile. He made some terrible statements. So I don't know. It's more difficult. It makes it more. I'm being honest. It makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs.
I would say so.
Okay.
More likely a no.
Finally, what is your message to Donald Trump if he's watching this?
To look at the case and make his decisions from there. I think that pardon him would be the right thing to do. given the history of the Mann Act. You know, if I'm not mistaken, President Trump pardoned Jack Johnson, and the Mann Act was used against him. And so, you know, if he has the opportunity to look through the case and make his decisions from there. I think looking through the case and the history of the Mann Act and
That's correct. He did pardon Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson has passed away. R.I.P. to Jack Johnson. But that doesn't mean the case of Jack Johnson and Diddy are exact or similar. Let's continue fair use. And he should have asked her, how similar are those cases in regards to the Mann Act from Diddy to Jack Johnson? He should have asked that question. Let's continue fair use reaction clip. There's about 260 in the building. Please subscribe, you guys. We're trying to get to 50K. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. We got 15 likes and 263 in the building. The likes should match the views. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Let's get the likes up. Hello, Pam. Good afternoon. Thanks for saying hello. Let's get the likes up, y'all, so we can continue with the show. Let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen, please. And thank you. Or you can hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Let's continue fair use reaction clip.
We are now, and that this type of behavior, you know, is not being prosecuted. It's not. Mr. Combs was prosecuted because he's Sean Puffy Combs, and that's just not right, and it's not fair, and he does not deserve to be where he is right now because of the Mann Act. He just doesn't deserve that, and so we just like fairness. We like fairness, and I'm hopeful that, you know, at the end of the day, that a fair outcome will come from this, and that somehow this will turn itself around to be something positive.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Nicole Westmoreland, I really appreciate you coming on Uncensored. It was a very interesting interview. Thank you very much.
So did the jury make a mistake in just only doing 2 charges? Should the jury have done other charges? Did they fully understand the Mann Act themselves? Maybe, maybe not. Did the jury rush to make a decision so they their holiday? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Yeah.
President Trump is also reportedly considering a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, who's serving 20 years for facilitating Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of young girls. Maxwell was quietly moved to a low-security prison last week. Bill and Hillary Clinton have now been subpoenaed by a congressional committee investigating the Epstein files fast. And elsewhere in legal news, my interview with Candace Owens, who's facing a massive defamation suit from the Macrons, has certainly got people talking. Many think the French president has overreached, and he say Candace is doomed. Well, joining me to discuss all of these legal issues is a panel of legal minds: a criminal defense lawyer, Mark Eiglash, the criminal attorney, Bruce Rivers, and entertainment law expert, Eric Gardner. Well, welcome to all of you. Let me start with you, Bruce Rivers, if I may, with the Diddy case. What do you...
This was really good. Let's listen up to all the men, how they have to refer about the Diddy case and what's going on. Like the video, subscribe to the page. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Anticipating is going to happen here. Do you think Trump will issue a full pardon? Should he issue a full pardon? And if not, and we get to sentencing on October the 3rd, what is the likely sentence?
Well, I don't think Trump should issue a pardon because pardons are an extraordinary remedy. However, if Trump thinks he can get something out of the pardon, he will certainly issue it if he thinks he can get something. But and I've got a pardon over my shoulder, that one of 17 that right over there. See that? That's one of 17 that Bush issued. He hardly issued any pardons. It's an extraordinary remedy.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Like the video, like the video. Good afternoon. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Should he pardon Diddy? Let me know in the comments. Will Donald Trump pardon Diddy? Yes or no?
Happen here, because I think he's going to get a guideline sentence somewhere around 50 months, 50 to 60 months, somewhere in there. That's my guess. And he's already served basically half that.
Hello?
But the judge is also going to consider some relevant conduct that was acquitted, and the judge can do that. And
as you guys come in, please hit the subscribe button, you guys. Hit the subscribe button, you guys. Thank you. Double tap the screen. Hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video.
In this case. Now, I heard that the defense lawyer, the defense in this case was pretty masterful in what they did. It's a pretty good result because the government wins most of these cases. But one of the things that she said is that on the pardon issue, well, we've looked for all kinds of cases. We've never seen a Mann Act like this ever charged out. Well, wait a second. Have you ever seen a Mann Act case with all this other relevant conduct?
Exactly.
With thousands of bottles of baby oil, with all this other stuff going on, with all the abuse and stuff. So there's a lot more to consider than just the Mann Act by itself.
Thank you.
Mark Eiglash, it's interesting to me because I do think the court of public opinion convicted Diddy based on the hotel corridor violent video, long before they got to the actual trial for which he was facing these other charges. But in the end, the jury were not swayed by that video. They saw it, but they accepted, I think, the argument that it was not relevant to what he was charged with. What do you feel about that? I mean, do you feel that the public would tolerate a pardon from Trump, given that video that everybody saw and was horrified by? Or do you feel that they would also make the calculation the jury did, that that had nothing to do with the case, and actually the case seemed to establish that everything that went on with these women who were accusing Diddy of wrongdoing, it was all consensual?
Okay, a lot in your question. First, they would probably be upset with Trump using his cherished pardons on someone like this. You just saw the interview with Trump. He said, well, he was nice first and he wasn't nice to me. When is that a criteria? Shouldn't it be the case and what this guy did?
Exactly.
He was nice to you later, now you're going to give a pardon? That's not what pardon should be about. Secondly, the court of public opinion is very different than the court of law. The court of public opinion is free to have very strong feelings about what Diddy did. We saw from that video. That is proof beyond all doubt that he was abusive towards women. The other counts, while not necessarily proven, still show the public that he was a murderer and his behavior was abhorrent. It's entirely different whether the government could prove, and they could not, the very, very challenging RICO charge typically applied to the mafia, right? Not necessarily the Al Capones of the lube world. This was a very challenging case, and it doesn't mean that Diddy didn't do it.
It doesn't, but Eric Gardner, like I said to Nicole Westmoreland, when I interviewed the guy, I can't remember his actual name, but the Punisher, which is his working name as a male escort, I did find him extremely credible, and he did paint a very different picture to the one that Cassie Ventura was trying to paint, which was that in his estimation, everything had been completely consensual. I did feel if I'd been on that jury, hearing that guy talk about the dozen or so times he'd met up, Diddy just sat in the corner watching as she very willingly, having booked him and paid for him, willingly engaged in sexual activity with him, and that they carried on for 2 years doing this quite happily. I think that would have been a very persuasive argument to me that this was not the way it was being portrayed. What do you think?
Well, I think that, the jury didn't necessarily declare Diddy innocent. What they did was that they declared that the prosecutors just had not made the case. And, there was a lot of criticism in the legal community because prosecutors were very aggressive on this. They overcharged Diddy stuff with trafficking and all that. So you can certainly, make judgments that stuff was consensual. But I don't think that you can read the verdict as a declaration that it was all consensual. I think that there's room for interpretation.
And just to be clear, when Nicole Westmoreland said they could find no other example of anyone who'd been convicted of the charges that he was convicted
Yes, listen to this part. I think this is when they talk about it.
of, in terms of effectively prostitution across state lines, they couldn't find any evidence of anyone being sent to prison for that. Is that your understanding?
Well, I haven't researched particularly that crime, but from my understanding of what she said, she was basically saying for his types of acts. So I don't know whether there's stuff that has ever been charged on free costs and stuff like that, and what exactly she was referring to. But I do know that people have been sentenced for the Mann Act before. She herself referenced the famous example in the boxer Jack Johnson, who was pardoned. I also think that the judge is very conscious of the fact that he was charged with more crimes. He doesn't seem to be particularly aggrieving about what happened. And the fact is that it will be a deterrent effect to sentence him to jail time. The message sent to the community about this. So I do expect there to be a fairly harsh sentence here.
And what do you think that could be?
A few years. I don't think.
What do you think his sentence will be? Let me know in the comments. Under a year, over 5 years, over 10 years. Let me know in the comments.
He'll get the maximum 20, but I definitely think he'll see some jail time.
Being a woman.
Like the video. Less than 1 year, over 5 years, over 10 years, or will he get time served?
Really interesting. And just on that one point, Bruce Rivers, on that one point, what are you anticipating?
I bet he gets somewhere between 50 and 60 months. But I do take issue with two words that you just used, quite happily. I think Cassie was in this to get something from Diddy, clearly, but I don't think she did everything quite happily. I think if she didn't obey, there were consequences. And
exactly.
Video. So, and then those are the things that the judge is going to take into account when he issues the sentence.
Yeah, Pierce, this case can't plausibly be analogized to what the attorney was talking about. those in a vacuum where somebody hires a prostitute and they come across state lines, that's one thing. But in federal court, a judge can legally and should consider all the relevant facts and circumstances surrounding the offense. The judge sat through weeks of testimony, learned a lot more about what Diddy did and how it pertained to the Mann Act charges for which he was convicted. He has every right to consider that when sentencing him.
Facts.
What do you think the sentence will be?
A guideline sentence. Now, the answer is, what is the guidelines? You know, the defense is arguing it's somewhere in the 2-year range. The prosecution's arguing it's somewhere in the 5 to 6 range. So the first thing that's going to happen in federal court is the judge is going to determine where does he fall within the guidelines. Prosecution, I think, is asking for a higher sentence because there were allegedly 8 victims. Good luck proving that. So that's the first thing. What are the guidelines? And I think we'll get a guideline sentence from the judge.
And if you were a betting man, what do you think will end up being the sentence?
Probably 2 to 3 years, somewhere in there, within the guidelines that the defense is representing.
Interesting. Okay, let's turn to Candace Owens against the Macrons, which is a fascinating case.
Okay, so now they're about to go to Candace Owens. If you're just now coming in, they talked Diddy. The lawyer spoke out, and many people are talking about his lawyer speaking up, and many people are calling it out. Let me play this.
Back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
No. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know, I mean, and I said I'll be there, kids, and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
no. Honestly,
yeah,
he has
gorgeous.
not. Okay. One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know, I mean, and I said I'll be there, kids, and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
no. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know, I mean, and I said I'll be there, kids.
So if he didn't talk to you about music, but he's telling you he want to be at Madison Square Garden. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Like the videos, y'all coming in. Please, if I get 129 people to please subscribe and thank you. Let's continue.
We've been, I guess, wondering what he was going to do once released, whenever that happens. And now we have an answer to it because his attorney, Mark Agnifilio, sat down for an interview and talked about Diddy's plans to return to music. Let's take a listen.
What is it that Sean Combs wants people to know?
He wants people to know that I think that he has reflected on the blessings that he's been given, on the imperfections that I think he sees in himself. I think he's someone who is always going to strive to do something, you know, exceptional and probably demanding and challenging. But I think the most demanding and challenging thing in front of him right now is to get back with his kids and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
No. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that.
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage.
I think that was so dumb for his attorney to say it.
Let's listen what the Breakfast Club had to say about the lawyer speaking up and speaking out. Like the video. Please hit subscribe, you guys. Let's get the likes up. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
I agree. It's like he's not home yet. He's not out. He still has to face sentencing. You know, the part where he said, the part where he said, he wants to get out, he wants to be with his kids, he wants to reflect on his imperfections. That's great. But now all of that is great. Back in the garden, like what? Like what are you talking about? Like what are you talking? Like you shouldn't even be, in my opinion, you shouldn't even be doing an interview until his sentencing. Like you don't want anything to reflect the judge or anything because the judge has TV, ladies and gentlemen. Like the judge has iPhones and Instagram as well. They're not supposed to be.
Every conversation should be about. Every conversation should be about rehabilitation. Every conversation should be about healing. Every conversation should be about, reflecting about the things that you did that were wrong. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. We shouldn't be hearing about nothing else.
His attorney didn't have to take that interview. His attorney could have said no comment.
But I think there's a cleanup on aisle 9, 10, and 11. This is the second attorney that did the interview. One interview was with Pierce Morgan, and then this interview with this young lady. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
I know we're going to wait till after sentencing. You don't want, and like you said, the judge is not supposed to be influenced by anything out there, but people are. People are not perfect, so they are. So why give them anything to feel away about?
Well, shout out to Jerica Duncan, who was the journalist that Mark Agnifilio sat down with over at CBS Mornings. That was my girl. I met her at court. She gathered him. That doing what? Said everything that needed to be said.
I'll tell you one thing. Top dog law would never.
So everybody's talking about the lawyer. She asked if he's ready to do music and if he's talked to you about music. And then she said no. She said no. Why would you say no? If he's talking about getting back on stage, that would mean he's talked to you about music. Everybody, I can't even make that up. Like the video as you guys come in. Fair use reaction clip. Let's continue.
A new chapter after his guilty verdicts. In court docs obtained by E! News, the Bad Boy Records founder filed a new motion July 30th, requesting to either overturn his convictions or grant the 55-year-old a brand new trial. Less than a month after Combs was convicted for transportation to engage in prostitution, his attorneys calling the verdict unprecedented, alleging Combs never actually committed illegal acts as the law describes. Saying in their motion, Combs, at most, paid to engage in voyeurism as part of a swinger's lifestyle. That does not constitute prostitution under a properly limited definition of the statutory term. The media mogul's legal team demanding an acquittal, and if not, they'll request a fresh start in court without evidence tied to his not guilty verdicts, surrounding charges for racketeering and sex trafficking. This comes after the trial judge denied Diddy's request to be released on bail, leaving him behind bars in his New York City detention center, where the rapper awaits his sentencing hearing scheduled for October 3rd. E! News has reached out to Diddy's prosecutors for comment, but has not yet heard back.
So do you think the jury did a great job in regards to what they decided?
What is it that Sean Combs wants people to know?
He wants people to know that I think that he has reflected on the blessings that he's been given, on the imperfections that I think he sees in himself. I think he wants to get out of jail, reestablish a loving, present relationship with all of his 7 children. He wants to take care of his mother. Does he want to get back into music? Does he want to get back into business? I think he's someone who is always going to strive to do something, exceptional and probably demanding and challenging. But I think the most demanding and challenging thing in front of him right now is to get back with his kids and get back with his mother and the people who love him and miss him.
So he's talked to you about getting back into music if he's
No. Honestly, he has not.
Okay.
One thing he said he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that?
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage, and I said, I'll be there.
Woo! Everybody is talking about that. Is Diddy stressing out these lawyers where they're making comments like that? Everyday people aren't even making comments like that. Is Diddy stressing out these lawyers? Let's hold on. Like the videos, y'all come in.
A former girlfriend of Sean Combs, who the defense filed the latest motion for bail, which was denied. But in that motion, there was a letter from Gina, a former girlfriend of Sean Combs, who was supposed to be victim number 3. Now, the prosecution, they issued a subpoena on Gina, and she was not called to testify. Prosecutors said ahead of the trial that they essentially had lost touch with her and her attorney. What happened there? Was she ever cooperating with prosecutors, to your knowledge?
That's almost jokeable. It's just, this isn't funny, but if the government wanted to find Miss Gina and bring her into that courtroom, they most definitely would have. So I can't find her.
Do you know, though?
The government has subpoena power. They have federal agents. They would have brought her in.
Do you know, though, to your knowledge, did she ever meet with prosecutors? Was she ever cooperating with their investigation? Because she was in the indictment as victim number 3.
So she said they could have found Gina if they wanted to find Gina. Was she on the list to testify?
So she definitely was in the indictment, and if the government wanted her to come into that courtroom, and if they thought that she had something criminal or negative to say in reference to Mr. Combs, they would have forced her to do so. That's what subpoena power is. So, I think the government not calling her speaks for itself, and I think the recent support from her gives you a pretty good insight why.
So why didn't they call Gina? Why didn't they subpoena Gina to testify? Now, like I said, Gina speaking up and saying, why do y'all have a problem with her supporting her friend? Why should she kick him when he's down? Gina's going in on people saying, I should be able to support him. Gina says she should be able to support, and it's her right, but we also saw that Gina went through a lot. I told y'all that Gina's situation would have been very parallel to Cassie's. Let's listen to what Gina had to say. Like the videos, y'all come in. Like the videos, y'all come in. Fair use reaction clip.
To a motion that the defense wrote. Hi everyone, it's Sunday, August 3rd, and the Diddy docket. There is something new that was just posted, and it's something that I was not expecting. Now, what was just posted is a letter reply to a response to a motion that the defense wrote on behalf of Diddy being granted bail ahead of his October sentencing. So they attached Exhibit A, which was a letter in support of Diddy being released, and that letter was written by none other than victim 3, Gina Hun. Gina Hun is writing, or has written, in support of Diddy's release. We all thought she was going to testify for the government. Again, she was supposed to be victim 3. She never showed up. Nobody knew what happened, but now she's writing in support of him. So I'm going to read you this letter. Dear Your Honor, my name is Virginia Hun, and I am writing as the person identified as victim 3 in this case. I have known Sean Combs for many years in both a personal and professional capacity. From that experience, I have seen him primarily as a father, a family man, a businessman, roles that he has always strived to uphold. I provide this letter to share my observations about his character and to respectfully request that the court permits his release on bond while the case proceeds. I acknowledge and respect that Mr. Combs stands accused and that the court must weigh public safety and the integrity of the legal process. At the same time, I believe it's important for the court to have a full picture of who he is beyond the allegations. Sorry, I'm trying to get this stupid ring light out of my glasses. Not working. Okay.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. There's about 145 in the building. Can I please get 145 to subscribe? And also hit the like, you guys. Let's get the likes to 100. Please double tap that screen. If you're watching from a phone, press 1. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
I am writing, oh no. Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs, mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he has caused. By the time our relationship had ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was marked different from his past behavior. To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years, and he has been committed to being a father first. I am writing because I do not view Mr. Combs as a danger to me or to the community. This is his first criminal case. Throughout the investigation and proceedings, he has been cooperative, respectful, and compliant. He has substantial ties to his family and community, including children who depend on him for emotional and financial support. Granting him bond would allow him to continue caring for his family and fulfilling his responsibilities while still subject to the court's supervision. I want to assure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs will adhere to all conditions and will not jeopardize his freedom or the well-being of his family. Allowing him to be at home will also support the healing process for all involved. I respectfully ask that you consider these factors when denying his eligibility for release. Thank you for your time and consideration, Virginia Hun. So there you have it.
So do y'all think Gina should have wrote the letter? Yes or no? Do you think Gina had help writing the letter? Yes or no? If Gina stated that she was victim 3, she's telling the judge she had concerns with Diddy. I can't make that up, y'all. Clean up on aisle 9, 10, and 11. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
She is now fully supporting Diddy. Maybe they're in a relationship again. I've heard rumors about that, but obviously I can't confirm or deny. But I'll be checking the docket to see what happens and to see if there will be any oral arguments coming up.
So do you think the women are actually trying to come to his rescue so that way when he gets out, when Diddy gets out, the women will be like, I was there for you. I assisted in helping. Do you think the women are trying to state their claim in him when he comes out? Now you got to remember, this is what she said Hold on.
Really hard, and I like my stomach, my stomach, like really hard, and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, and he kept hitting me, and I was like pleading to him, like, can you stop? I can't breathe. And he like stopped for a little bit. He like grabbed my hair from the back and like was like punching the back of my head.
Crazy.
He was just avoiding my face when he was like hitting me. He like stomped on my stomach like really hard, and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, and he kept hitting me, and I was like pleading to him, like, can you stop? I can't breathe. And he like stopped for a little bit. He like grabbed my hair from the back and like was like punching the back of my head, because he was just avoiding me when he was like hitting me.
So why
He, like,
aren't
stomped on my stomach?
people that's interviewing them asked, well, what about Gina and her experience? She wrote the letter. Should she have wrote the letter if she was also alleged a victim too? Do you want to elaborate on Gina's interview from years ago? Why did they do that? I don't get it. If I would have interviewed, I would have asked different questions. Would you want your mom, aunt, or niece dating Mr. Combs? How do you feel about Gina's interview and then her writing the letter? Why would she write a letter and calling herself victim number 3? Hold on.
Shocking allegations against him. Of Diddy has made shocking allegations against him. Do whatever the fuck I want to do. Gina courageously came forward to share her experiences, claiming that she endured a tumultuous relationship marked by abusive behavior. She recounted distressing incidents of physical violence, recounting one instance where Diddy allegedly mushed her face forcefully, causing her nose to bleed. Gina further disclosed that amidst such moments, in an even more troubling revelation, Gina asserted that she was coerced by Diddy into undergoing 2 abortions, with him
Allegedly.
reportedly providing her with $50,000 on each occasion.
Allegedly.
These grave allegations emerged in the wake of Cassie's announcement of her pregnancy with her new partner. As of now, Diddy has yet to address these accusations publicly, leaving a cloud of uncertainty and prompting discussions on the responsibilities of public figures in addressing such serious matters.
And why would he make her not carry it to term? And I would have also asked, was there ever a time that you guys were expecting?
Do you think your life will be threatened in any kind of way?
No. I mean, he never did anything dangerous to me. I'm not scared. He was abusive. He was like mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me.
Allegedly.
He like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back, and he stood over me, and he started like punching me like this. Like he avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side of my head, and I was just like covering my face. And he like stomped on my stomach like really hard, and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, but he kept hitting me, and I was like pleading to him, like, can you stop? I can't breathe. Oh.
If Diddy does win this trial, do you think your life will be threatened in any kind of way?
No. I mean, he never did anything dangerous to me. I'm not scared. He was abusive. He was like mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me. He like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back, and he stood over me, and he started like punching me like this. Like he avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side of my head, and I was just like covering my face. And he like stomped on my stomach like really hard, and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe, but he kept hitting me, and I was like pleading to him, like, can you stop? I can't breathe. Oh.
So even though, and this is the other thing, people were saying, if you were MIA for the trial and then you resurfaced after the jury started to deliberate, how was TMZ even able to find her at the doggone grocery store? How were they able to find her? Was that a plot plan, you guys? She was MIA for most of the trial. Then she resurfaced. After they were deliberating. So many people are calling Gina out, period. They're calling her out. They're saying, why would you say this and now you're saying this? Why would you claim this and now you're saying this?
Threatening any kind of way?
I mean, he never did anything dangerous to me. I'm not scared. He was abusive. He was like mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me.
Allegedly?
He like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back and he stood over me and he started like punching me like this. Like he avoided my face. But
So
he like started punching me.
So do you think that's why Diddy's lawyers are doing interviews? Because what Gina said years ago is coming out. People are talking about her letter and people are talking about her interviews. Do you think that's why Diddy's lawyers did an interview with Pierce Morgan and then now also his other lawyer did an interview? Do you think they're doing a cleanup because maybe they didn't research Gina's interview and they didn't think people would talk about what she said years ago? These are Gina's words in that interview. It's not a phone call coming in. It's her actually sitting down with TK. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
He was abusive. He was like mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing me. He like stood over me. So I was like laying on my back and he stood over me and he started like punching me like this. Like he avoided my face, but he like started punching me like on the side of my head and I was just like covering my face. And he like stomped on my stomach like really hard and I like took the wind out of my breath. I couldn't breathe. But he kept hitting me and I was like pleading to him, like, can you stop? I can't breathe.
So does that sound familiar in what regards to what Cassie went through allegedly? They didn't want, I'm sorry, many people feel they didn't want Gina to show up because her story would have been very, very, very parallel to Cassie.
In a recent interview, Gina, the girlfriend of Diddy, has made shocking allegations against him.
Do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Gina courageously came forward to share her experiences, claiming that she endured a tumultuous relationship marked by abusive behavior. She recounted distressing incidents of physical violence, recounting one instance where Diddy allegedly mushed her face forcefully, causing her nose to bleed. Gina further disclosed that amidst such moments, in an even more troubling revelation, Gina asserted that she was coerced by Diddy into undergoing 2 abortions, with him reportedly providing her with $50,000 on each occasion. These grave allegations emerged in the wake of Cassie's announcement of her pregnancy with her new partner. As of now, Diddy has yet to address these accusations publicly, leaving a cloud of uncertainty and prompting discussions on the responsibilities of public figures in addressing such serious matters.
So do you think it was smart for the attorneys to do the interviews? Do you think it was smart for Gina to write the letter? Are they grabbing at straws, y'all? Are they grabbing at straws? Like the video as you guys come in. Like the video as you guys come in. Let me know in the comments. Do you think they're grabbing at straws? Do you think it's a cleanup on aisle 9, 10, and 11? Do you Diddy's like, get out there? We got to do everything we can before sentencing.
Next on Trump's list of presidential pardons. During an August 5th interview with CNN, Nicole Westmoreland, an attorney for Combs, was asked whether the music mogul's defense team has had a conversation with President Trump about the possibility of a pardon. And she revealed that those wheels are in motion.
In Sean Combs' orbit, have they had conversations with the Trump administration?
Yes. My understanding is that we have reached out.
Reached out is one thing, having a conversation is another. Do you know if there have been active conversations about a pardon?
Yes, it's my understanding that we've reached out and had conversations in reference to a pardon.
Despite Westmoreland's remarks, the White House declined to weigh in on the situation when contacted by NBC News, saying in a statement on August 6th that it, quote, will not comment on the existence or non-existence of any clemency request. A few days earlier, however, Trump himself was asked during an interview with Newsmax about the possibility that he pardoned Diddy of his convictions. The president couldn't give a definitive answer, but referenced some lapses in his personal relationship with the Bad Boy Records exec.
Sean Diddy Combs,
Right.
would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yes.
I don't know what they did, still in jail or something.
Yeah.
He was celebrating a victory, but he seems, I guess it wasn't as good of a victory. Probably, you know, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great. And seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well.
Like the video, fair use reaction clip. Continue to hit subscribe, you guys. Continue to hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K by next month. Let's get the likes up to 100. Thank you.
But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you.
Yeah, and it's hard, you know, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office, and he made some terrible statements. So, I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs, it sounds like.
So.
Okay.
Diddy was convicted of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution and faces up to 10 years behind bars. His sentencing is currently set for October 3rd. The influential record producer was acquitted of 3 other charges: racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. During her interview with CNN, Nicole Westmoreland attributed the defense team's success to, quote, telling the truth.
This verdict was, in no uncertain terms, a victory for the defense. Talk about that strategy from day one, to come out of the gate and say he is a domestic abuser, but that is not what he is on trial for here.
So, you know, the strategy was to just tell the truth. That's really what we decided, to just tell the truth. We didn't need a creative story. We didn't need to overreach. We knew that telling the truth meant not guilty. We knew that he had not sex trafficked anyone, and we knew that RICO was absurd. So we figured, hey, we'll tell the truth, and that will pay off. And I believe that, for the most part, that strategy worked.
Like the video. Did the jurors get it right or wrong? Did the jury get it right or wrong? Should the charges have been different? Now they're saying it does not add up. Like the video as you guys come in. Did they do a great job in regards to his charges? Yes or no?
It's a great victory for Sean Combs. It's a great victory for the jury system. You saw that the Southern District of New York prosecutors came at him with all that they had. They're not stopping, but one thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that is a jury of 12.
Let's get a little interaction going in. Do you think he'll get time served? Press 1. Do you think he'll get over 5 years? Press 2. Do you think he'll get over 10 years? Press 3. Or you can put time served, you can put less than a year, you can put over 5 years, you can put over 10 years. Let me know in the comments.
And we had a wonderful jury. They listened to every word, and they got the situation right, or certainly right enough.
Good afternoon.
It was a huge victory for Diddy Combs, but he wasn't released from jail. He was convicted of the most minor of all the charges. His sentencing is scheduled for October, but he's been trying desperately to get out of jail, pending his sentencing. And guess who's coming to his aid? One of the alleged victims in the case, who wrote a letter. Take a listen as one of our producers reads that letter to the judge.
My name is Virginia Hoon, and I'm writing as the person identified as victim 3 in this case. I have known Sean Combs.
She called herself victim 3, writing the judge. You can't make this up. Like the video.
For many years, in both a personal and professional capacity. From that experience, I have seen him primarily as a father, a family man, and a businessman, roles that he has always striven to uphold. I provide this letter to share my observations about his character and to respectfully request that the court permit his release on bond while the case proceeds. Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs, and mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he had caused. By the time our relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was markedly different from his past behavior. To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years, and he has committed to being a father first.
Did y'all catch that? What she said, what it was, and what it is now?
While the case proceeds, our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs, and mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he had caused. By the time our relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was markedly different from his past behavior. To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years, and he has committed to being a father first. I am writing because I do not view Mr. Combs as a danger to me or to the community. I want to assure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs.
So do you think Diddy's team had her write the letter because the interview? Fair use, reaction clip.
Will adhere to all conditions imposed and will not jeopardize his freedom or the well-being of his family. Respectfully, Virginia Hoon.
Now, despite that effort and, wanting to post tens of millions of dollars and in all the conditions, take a look at what happened. The judge denied it. The motion for bail is denied, so ordered, dated August 4th, 2025. Let's bring back in our think tank, I want Darnell Cross and Jennifer Brandt. The judge doesn't want to let him out, so that's not going to happen. Like, they've tried everything. But what does it tell us, Darnell, right now about what's happening here if you've got a jury that comes back and dismisses almost all the charges except the trafficking of the male prostitutes who were flown in to have sex, to get paid to have sex with his girlfriends, right? That's what he got convicted of. Not guilty of everything else. One of the alleged victims now writing letters to the judge on his behalf. What's going on here?
What's going on here?
Well, first of all, try this 10-minute ChatGPT routine every morning.
Like the video, like the video.
It's 2025.
So
AI can build a pro-level.
They're going to break down why is Gina, who is allegedly calling herself in the letter, victim 3. And you talked about the hardship you guys suffered, and now you're trying to say he's a better person and he made better decisions towards the end of the relationship.
He was arrested under the Same Man Act because he would cross the line to white women, and they didn't want that. And, famously, you can read.
Let's go back a little bit because there was a commercial.
Well, first of all, this is ridiculous. If you remember the boxer Jack Johnson, he was arrested under the Same Man Act because he would cross state lines with white women, and they didn't want that. And, famously, you can read, he's flying down the road with the white woman in the car, and the police stop him. They say, give you a ticket. He says, how much? They said, $100. He said, here's $200. I'll be back in an hour, same speed. This is a ticket. No one gets prosecuted for this Mann Act. And the only reason why he's in jail now is because they say technically that there's a presumption that under that charge, bail is supposed to be denied. Not that he's a danger, but there's a carve out that says this is not a bailable offense. But other than that, I mean, he should be home. This judge, I think, is upset that he, beat the major charges, and a lot of people just can't believe it. And I hate to say it, but the courts, if they're cheering for one side or the other, this is the time for them to show their power and say, hey, we won this side. This at least we can do is keep you in. And I think that's what this is about.
Al, I'm not a Diddy fan, and no one believes that any of this behavior was correct.
So was Diddy traveling with a woman, high speed, and he got a ticket? No. Even then, the Mann Act there's not a lot of similarities. They were at hotels doing stuff, and afterwards he was playing into juices. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
But we have to evaluate our system day in and day out. Is this the way it normally goes? This is how it goes? You fly a male prostitute in, you pay him, and then he has sex with your girlfriend, and then you go to prison for years?
It's a violation of the law, and he was convicted.
Where are the feds on Super Bowl weekend? Why don't they do something on Super Bowl weekend? You know how many prostitutes are flown into the Super Bowl city every year? Are we going to arrest all of those men and send them to federal prison?
This was part of the charges. This wasn't the only charges he was charged with, as we know. There were a lot more serious charges against him, the trafficking and all those things along those lines, which the jury did not find him to be guilty of. They did find he was guilty of this. There is a carve-out that says he's not entitled to bail. Why would he be given special treatment just because he gets a letter? And in fact, that letter was kind of bizarre, too, because she refers to him as accused. He's a little past the accused stage at this point. He's convicted. So under the circumstances,
but again, convicted of
follow the law.
Convicted of what? Is I guess really what we're talking about. Like
convicted of the violation of the Mann Act. He's convicted of the violation of the Mann Act. He is not accused anymore, Vinny. He's a convicted felon. But I mean, I've seen people in the news. One of them was, I think, the son of a president. Did the same thing. Nothing happens. Like, what's going on? Is this selective prosecution? Why Diddy, Jennifer Brandt? I'm not, and again, I'm not a Diddy fan. Don't like the behavior. Like, all this stuff is crazy. But I'm just going by, like, how our system treats everyone with a blindfold. Is that happening here, Jennifer Brandt?
Yeah. Well, we know it's not a blindfold, and I think the judge is trying to make a lesson and trying to give him a lesson out of him. He's well known. He's, there was a lot of attention on this trial. It's not a bailable offense, so the judge is taking a hard line and saying, no, you'll stay in jail until the sentencing, and then we'll, see what happens from there. They're not going to give him special treatment, and I think it's because of his fame that it's hurting him at this point, not helping him.
So, Darnell, is this sort of a prelude to what's going to happen to him at sentencing? That he's going to get the high end of all this? Because it's quite a range and the prosecution defense not even close to agreeing in the amount of time here.
Well, that's the funny thing about this. When you pray, as a practicing attorney, you must learn to pray. And when you pray, your prayers sound like this. I hope and pray that he denied this bail because he's given the prosecution this card. Given one for them by keeping them in, and then when the sentencing comes, let him go. Because sometimes when you're getting yelled at and screamed at a certain juncture in the proceeding, you may get some sunshine at the other side. Even though other times you're getting love and you see all this love, and then boom, you get hammered at the end. So I'm hoping and praying, and I'm sure other people are as well, because I don't agree with this Mann Act charge. So if he's leaving in now to give him a little bit of a punishment, a weekend jail, sometimes we ask, Judge, can you just raise my client's bond, put him in for a weekend, give him let him get the point, and then reduce the bond so he's not convicted. Maybe this is one of those plays. So I'm hoping that's what it is, but we have to wait and see.
Let me ask you, Al, who's the victim in his crime? The girlfriends. They didn't, the woman that wrote the letter didn't testify. So, that's the situation. So for the Mann Act, the victim is the person who the prostitute was paid to have sex with? No, it's you're talking about with regards to the victim of the Mann Act. The victim of the Mann Act would be the fact that it was money procured to bring someone over for the purpose of having sex with someone who may have been against their will. But he wasn't convicted. It wasn't convicted of against their will. But that was what he was charged with, though. So that's part and parcel of that offense. It's a lesser included offense as to what he was charged with. All right. The bottom line is this. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with Darnell that, what's happened in the past with regards to this, especially with regards to, African-American defendants, is not right, and it has been a horrendous situation.
So did the jury do a good job in what they charged him with? Yes or no? Did the jury do a good job in what they charged him with? Yes or no? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Did they do a good job? Did they fail the court system? Hold on one second.
October sentencing. The jury and his...
Like the videos y'all coming in. Like the videos y'all coming in. Fair use reaction clip.
In his first interview since here in New York, Sean Diddy Combs is in jail waiting for his October sentencing. The jury in his sex trafficking and racketeering trial cleared him of those serious charges, but convicted him on 2 counts related to prostitution. In his first interview since the trial, his lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, sat down with Jerika Duncan to answer questions. She is here with us right now. Jerika, good morning. So the topic of a pardon from President Trump came up. What did he tell you?
Well, that's right. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. A senior White House official declined to comment on, quote, speculation and told us any decision on pardons would come from the president himself. Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said he has not talked to the Trump administration about it. You mean to tell me that you really have nothing to do with a possible pardon right now?
Nothing. I have nothing to do with a possible pardon.
What is Sean Combs saying about the possibility of a pardon?
I think he knows I'm not political. We never discussed it other than I tell him what's in the news about it. But
And what's his reaction? Does he laugh? Does he say, let's look into it? What does he say?
Go tell him that I need a pardon. Go tell him I deserve a pardon. That's what he said.
Last month, 55-year-old Sean Diddy Combs was convicted on 2 federal counts of prostitution-related offense linked to 2 ex-girlfriends, including Cassie Ventura, a key witness for the prosecution. But Combs was acquitted on the top charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, avoiding the possibility of life in prison. Lead defense attorney Mark Agnifilo says he's now focused on Combs' sentencing day in October. How are you preparing him?
So, I tell him what the guidelines are, and the guidelines are about 2 or 3 years. And I tell him, the judge could go above the guidelines.
Do you have any regrets in how you tried this case?
Good question.
It's a good question. Not really. Not really.
You called the relationship between Combs and Ventura a great modern love story.
Yes, he
Ventura
did.
said she was raped, physically abused.
Allegedly.
and became addicted to drugs because of Combs.
I think that's what makes it. The rape we vehemently deny, and I know I respect that you said that. I don't think the jury concluded that happened. In terms of the drugs and the other stuff, I think that's what makes it a modern love story. I think she very much loved him, and I know he very much loved her.
Cassie Ventura's attorney told us that Agnifilo's description of the relationship is a, quote, complete disgrace and affront to survivors of domestic violence. Now, we covered a lot more in this interview. Agnifilo said that he talks to his client just about every single day. He told us that Combs is focused on his family, wants to one day get back into performing at Madison Square Garden. This interview was about an hour long. He also told us that Combs did want to testify. Obviously, he did not. That the sex videos, he believed, helped the defense, and said that those civil court costs are going to add up for him, and said, quote, Combs has the tremendous misfortune of having lawyers all around him all the time.
And he wants to be on stage. Sean Combs
That's what the attorney said, yeah.
How did you hold your face on straight when he describes it as a love story? I'm very baffled by that characterization.
I think
there were a lot of ways he tries to explain it.
There were a lot of questions about that and just kind of the style at the end in the closing arguments, which is why we did reach out to Doug Wigdor, who represents.
So do you think Cassie and Diddy's relationship was a modern day love story and what she experienced? So what he did to her in that video is a modern day love story? Are you kidding me? What alleged Gina went through is a modern day love story? Are you kidding me? They're trying to normalize how he is as a person. That's concerning. In my page, I can't sugarcoat it and be like, okay, well, that's their private relationship. No, what he did and how he acts and how he treats these women are concerning. Let's continue. Modern day love story. So does he want any of his family members to go through what he put these girls through? He has daughters. So is he going to be okay if men do what he's done to these women's daughters? Stop playing. So she should have asked him. So you would be okay with your daughter being in a relationship and a man treats her like that? She should have asked that lawyer that. Stop playing with me. What the heck? You would be okay with how, if your daughter was in a situation like Diddy, you'd be okay with it. Stop playing. They are not a modern day love story. Women, if you're in a bad situation and a man is being verbally, physically concerning, get out, get help, and get free from the BS. Get free from the BS. When there's substances, there's a concern. People are not normal when there's substances. No man, allegedly, should be wanting his girl to sleep with other men, 1 or 2 men in a day's period. And a man not caring whether or not, allegedly, they're using protection. A man should want you to be protected always. Women, don't fall for the BS. If a man wants you to do something you don't want to do, get out of the relationship if you're not comfortable. Real talk. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
He said, yeah.
How did you hold your face on straight when he describes it as a modern love story? I'm very baffled by that characterization.
I think there were a lot of
ways he tries to explain it.
There were a lot of questions about that and just kind of the style at the end in the closing arguments, which is why we did reach.
And you can scream free him. That's fine. My page is a little different. We don't try and block people's, unless they're being disrespectful. You can scream free him. That's on you. But most women would not want this man dating their mother, niece, or aunt. Real talk. Let's be very clear. They are trying to normalize how his behavior is. And it's not okay.
By that characterization.
I think there were a lot of
ways he tries to explain it.
There were a lot of questions about that and just
Let me go back.
Said, yeah.
How did you hold your face on straight when he describes it as a modern love story? I'm very baffled by that characterization.
I think there were a lot of
ways he tries to explain it.
There were a lot of questions about that and just kind of the style at the end in the closing arguments, which is why we did reach out to Doug Wigdor, who represents Cassie Ventura, to get their reaction to it. But at the end of the day, Agnifilo said he's really focused on the sentencing, focused on his client, and obviously supports him and his family. Yeah.
Very true. Thank you.
That's concerning. So concerning. And then you got to realize their civil lawsuits, once he's sentenced, the civil lawsuits will come into play. That may be why they're pushing to get him out sooner than later. The civil lawsuits will start after he's sentenced. Like the videos, y'all come in.
Speaking out in his first network interview since Combs was acquitted of federal sex trafficking charges, Mark Agnifilo sat down with CBS News correspondent Derica Duncan to discuss what's next for Combs. His sentencing is set for October 3rd, and motions for him to be released on bail have so far been denied. His attorney says Combs wants to be back with his family and return to music.
One thing he said when he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
He said that?
He did. He said to me he's going to be back in Madison Square Garden.
Doing what?
I guess being on stage. You know? I mean, and I said, I'll be there.
You can see this full interview tomorrow.
That's a trip. Like the videos, you guys come in. Like the videos, you guys come in. Like the video. Let me see. Fair use reaction clip. So y'all let me know. Do you think he'll get 1 year plus? Do you think he'll get 5 years? Do you think he'll get 10 years? Or do you think he'll get time served? Y'all let me know.
The defense filed the latest motion for bail, which was denied. But in that motion, there was a letter from Gina, a former girlfriend of Sean Combs, who was supposed to be victim number 3. Now, the prosecution, they issued a subpoena on Gina, and she was not called to testify. Prosecutors said ahead of the trial that they essentially had lost touch with her and her attorney. What happened there? Was she ever cooperating with prosecutors, to your knowledge?
That's almost jokeable. It's just, this isn't funny. But if the government wanted to find Miss Gina and bring her into that courtroom, they most definitely would have.
Did they make a mistake not bringing Gina and summons her to get on that stand? Did they make a huge mistake because Gina and Cassie's case might have been somewhat similar and parallel, allegedly?
Can't find her. I don't, you know.
Do you know, though?
The government has subpoena power. They have federal agents. They would have brought her in.
Do you know, though, to your knowledge, did she ever meet with prosecutors? Was she ever cooperating with their investigation? Because she was in the indictment as victim number 3.
So she definitely was in the indictment, and if the government wanted her to come into that courtroom, and if they thought that she had something criminal or negative to say in reference to Mr. Combs, they would have forced her to do so. That's what subpoena power is. So, you know, I think the government not calling her speaks for itself. And
that's sad that they didn't. Maybe because she had flipped and said she gonna support him, but that don't mean that they can't question her in the right way. What was your experience with him? She not gonna lie on the stand. How long did y'all date? Was there ever any jealousy? Did he ever put hands on you? Were you guys ever expecting? How did you feel in the first 6 months of the relationship? How did you feel in the first 2 years of the relationship? How did you feel in the last part of the relationship? Were you respected by him in front of friends, near friends? How did he feel about you communicating with other men? Did he ever get jealous? Did he ever lay hands on you in any shape or form? Did you ever feel verbally or physically a concern? They could have asked her questions. Everybody keeps saying the feds have a really high rate in regards to successfully charging people. In regards to this case, they dropped the ball in a lot of areas. Why? In regards to this case, they dropped the ball in a lot of areas. And that lady was fired a week or two ago. Why would they drop the ball and not contacting his bodyguards, the chefs, and what they saw? In regards to what the bodyguards saw, in regards to what the chefs saw, in regards to what the housekeeper saw, why would they not call the other women that he dated outside of Cassie? Okay, they called Jane Doe. Okay, they spoke with Mia. Okay, they spoke with other people. But why would they not call all the relationships he had in the last 5 or 6 years after Cassie? They dropped the ball in a lot of different situations. And then people were upset with Cassie, how certain situations happened. They didn't want them on the stand either. Interesting. Some people were on the stand way too long. They should have also contacted people he produced for. Some of those people may have been on the list. Good afternoon. Some of those people may have been on the list, but it's interesting how they kept talking about text messages and they made the case 50 to, well, 40 to 50% about Cassie and Diddy. What else did you find in his home? What other tapes did you find in his home? What are the messages did you find in his phone? What did you find in that hotel? If he was in counseling and in therapy, are you surprised he had all those items in his hotel? So would you say what was in his hotel, was he getting ready for FO again? But he's in counseling. Shouldn't he want better for himself? So you're telling me he's in counseling, but allegedly he's still using substances? Okay. I would handle it different. I would do the interview different. Period. I would do the interview different. And I get it. Whenever you are an interviewer, you have to be careful because people won't come on your platform if you're too harsh in regards to an interview. And then the biggest thing is, if Gina does an interview, we should ask all the questions of what made you change your mind to support? Are you hoping he gets out soon? Are you seeking a relationship with him? Because you got to remember, allegedly, he was paying Jane Doe's rent and lawyer. So is he paying Gina's rent and lawyer fees as well? Something else, y'all. Something else. Something else. Like the videos, you guys come in. Okay, you guys. I have some things I have to take care of, but I appreciate y'all for being here. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All claims are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Are you guys surprised that Gina is basically saying, calling people names and saying she can forgive the man, and she doesn't want to kick him while he's down? Are you guys surprised that Gina is now supporting him, even though she did that interview? Is Diddy mad that she did the interview and he's basically saying, you need to clean this up? You need to clean this up. So, mothers teach your daughters different about self-respect, self-love, and be careful when guys are physically or verbally, if they're having concerns. Speak with your daughters. So definitely focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. You said stop the what? News is news. She don't look black. News is news. We cover hot topics, trending topics. It doesn't matter the race or culture. If you see my short, I cover different cultures and race. And we talk hot topics, trending topics. This is a trending topic because his lawyers are speaking up and speaking out. Clean up on aisle 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's be very clear. They asked his lawyer, does he talk to you about music? He said no. But then he said he wants to go to Madison Square Garden. So that means he does talk to you about music, because that's what he would do if he's going to Madison Square Garden. Is he going there to watch somebody else listen to music? Is he going there to support somebody else to do music? And you remember, that's the same lawyer that said, he talked about the baby oil. And Costco said, hold on, not true. We don't carry baby oil. News is news. News is news. Do you think the judge feels like they're playing in his face? Because Gina stated in the letter that she's victim number 3. What does that mean? She's telling the courts that she was a victim, but now she's there to support him, which is her right. It's her right to support. She can do whatever she wants. She grown. But people are side-eyeing Gina, and she is calling people out for how they feel about her supporting a man that allegedly did what she said. People didn't assume what Gina went through. Gina did an interview over 3, 4 years ago. Gina sat down in that interview and was crying. And Gina made allegations about Diddy. And Gina wrote a letter in support of him. And many people feel that the feds should have called Gina, got her on that stand, who he produced. KK should have probably been on that stand. D-Rock should have probably been on that stand. Any other women he dated over the last 5, 6 years should have been on that stand. Many people feel allegedly the feds dropped the ball, period. Many people feel that way. Diddy's team felt like they didn't even need to call witnesses because they may have allegedly felt that they dropped the ball. Did the jury do a great job as well? Or did the jury also drop the ball because they were getting ready for the holiday? Many people feel, why did y'all drop the ball with this case when y'all have such a high success rate? Why did y'all drop the ball in this case if y'all have a high success rate? And is that why that lady got fired? Is that why she was terminated? Everyday normal people was like, that don't seem right. All the ejections, all the sidebars. Remember, they wanted to announce almost every guy Gina was dating. I'm sorry, every guy Cassie was dating. But then in court, they allegedly wanted to keep that rapper's name anonymous. Interest, right? We're going to tell everybody Cassie tried to leave Diddy for. We're going to tell every guy she tried to leave Diddy for. She was trying to find a way out, and he got jealous. What happened in regards to Kid Cudi? Alleged. And then allegedly there was calls placed, but the police never pulled Diddy's car over. So many areas, so many concerns. Those police department didn't want to pull his car over once they ran those plates. So many concerns. So many things dropped. But, it is what it is. Each charge he was guilty of holds 10 years each. Will the judge decide that? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Will he get time served? Let me know in the comments. Will he get 1 year or more? Let me know in the comments. Will he get 5 years or more? Let me know in the comments. Will he get 10 years or more? Do you think the judge will be harsh or light and give him time served? Everybody wants to know. Let me know in the comments. Thank you. Okay, I don't go with disrespect. What isn't news? That Gina wants to be okay with a person that did XYZ. So be careful when you come over here trying to disrespect me. I don't deal in disrespect. Go over to your page and be rude and disrespectful. Not over here. It's not welcome. Thank you though. But thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for supporting the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Your feelings matter. You should always be in a healthy, happy relationship. No one should ever disrespect you, put hands on you, demean you, put you down, make you feel like you're not worthy or worth love and respect. If you're in a bad situation, get help and get assistance. No woman or women, and remember how she said his girlfriends, they knew about each other and they called each other out sometimes on media. So I guess some men think it's okay of how he treated Cassie, Jane Doe, how Gina said what she said, but she called herself victim 3. So you're letting the judge know you had concerns. How Cassie was treated in that video, so disrespectful. Cassie continued to go back. They continued to contact Cassie, and sometimes they would put it over her head that if you don't do XYZ, this won't be released. Then remember, he also allegedly contacted Cassie's family saying he's going to release stuff on Cassie and allegedly threatened her career. But it is what it is. Do you guys find him to be a great person to date or be around? Many people feel different. Was women and the women he dated, were they gold diggers, seeking a boost in their career, seeking someone to take care of them? Y'all let me know. Would you want your mother, aunt, or niece dating him? Would you want your daughters going through what Cassie went through, what Gina went through, alleged? And would you want what Jane went through? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you all for being here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the channel. Have a great day.